We absolutely love Soulsborne games. There's been some really good ones recently this year, and now we need more of them. So in this one, we're going to give you guys 12 upcoming Soulsborne games so that you know what's coming out soon and can get them on your radar. If you want to know more specifics and the nitty-gritty details of one of these games, put them down in the comments below and we'll go over the specifics for you guys in a separate video. But for this one, we're just going to make you guys aware of all of these Soulsborne games that we think look really cool coming out soon. So if you enjoyed this video and thought it was interesting, definitely show support by clicking the like button down below. You should also click subscribe if you want to see the specifics, as we'll be doing more videos no doubt on these games over the next days and weeks. Let's jump right into it with another crab treasure. This is a Souls-like adventure set in a crumbling underwater world. The game looks absolutely hilarious to us. You of course are playing this crab under the ocean, fighting against other crustaceans, changing out your shells as you progress through the game. You can parry and do all sorts of cool moves, and it looks super colourful, which is honestly nice to see and sets it apart from other Souls games. The release date for this one is 2023, and the platforms are currently set for Switch and PC. Next up is Project RELIC. This is being developed by Project Cloud Games, which is a small Korean studio, so it might not have the large scope and polish of AAA games, but it looks really cool. It looks fast-paced, which is unusual for a Souls game, and even has some kind of multiplayer component that we're yet to see. It does definitely have a slightly creepy vibe to it. There's a whole swampy, woody area that's filled with creepy enemies, and we can even see a transforming hag-like creature that you fight, and also giant enemies with humongous swords. There's magic too. It looks very interesting and definitely has our attention. This one's also releasing in 2023 and is currently set for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Xbox Series X and S. Next up is a game that was previously codenamed Project Eve, but has now recently been officially revealed as Stellar Blade. This one's being developed by Shift Up Corporation. We first saw this back in a previous PlayStation showcase, and while it is a Souls-like, we definitely got Nier and Bayonetta vibes from this one. The combat seems more in line with Japanese action games than RPGs, definitely seeing more of a Devil May Cry inspiration to the combat. The enemy designs are also really cool. It kind of reminds us of particular enemies in Scarlet Nexus. This one is coming in 2023, and the platforms are currently set for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and PlayStation 5. Next up is Flintlock. This one's being developed by A44, an indie studio, and it kind of gives us slight Bloodborne vibes with the fact that you gain access to a gun in a melee-focused Souls game. The finishes look really cool, and you even have a familiar. The familiar can actually transform and has some cool looking abilities like dashing around. Interestingly though, it can actually join you in combat like some kind of Nightcrawler-esque teleporting crazy assistant. Within the game, you're going to join Nor and her fox-like companion Enki in a fight against the Old Gods. The door to the afterlife has been opened, allowing the Old Gods' army of the undead to escape from within. Within the world, the living are on the brink of extinction, and it's time for the Coalition army to retake their world. You're meant to embrace vengeance, gunpowder, and magic, and embark on an epic journey to lead mankind's final siege against the Tide of the Dead. It's currently set to release in 2023 for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and Series X and S. Next is Bleak Faith Forspoken. It's being developed by Archangel Studios, and as you may already know, a lot of Souls games definitely have some kind of Berserk reference, but this game clearly takes inspiration by the manga. It looks like there are hordes of enemies to fight with weighty combat and super visceral camera reactions. It was originally a Kickstarter game and describes itself as a brutal open-world survival horror action RPG. Within the bio of the game, it says you can explore the last remnants of civilization in this vast, unforgiving and interconnected world. Learn what's left of history, discover pocket civilizations in the perpetually expanding Omni structure. It's currently set to release this year for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. Next is Black Myth Wukong, one that we're personally really hyped for. It's being developed by Game Science, and you play, of course, as Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, fighting through an assortment of enemies. It's supposed to be a loose interpretation of the Chinese novel A Journey to the West, loads of fantastic beasts and cool enemies to fight. It's definitely giving us more fantasy than macabre vibes when it comes to Soul games. Sun Wukong's poses and stances are also quite cool, so this one is definitely a game that we can't wait to try out. It's currently set for release in 2023 next year. Next up is Lies of P. This one gives us massive Bloodborne vibes, and within the game itself you actually play as a mechanoid version of Pinocchio, where you'll be fighting a bunch of really creepy looking enemies, and there's even different weapon varieties to try from the trailers, including a flaming sword, an axe, and a shovel, just to mention a few. Pinocchio also has access to Legion arms, which allows him to customize his abilities, which is something that we're super interested in. It's set in the late 19th century, and it looks super stylish and somewhat creepy, which I think we can all agree usually works in a Souls-like game. The release date is to be decided, and the platforms are currently PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. Next up is Wulong Fallen Dynasty, currently being developed by Team Ninja, the same team who made the Neo series, so we can kind of assume that this one's probably gonna be good. It looks super fast-paced and more high action than regular methodical Souls-like games. Of course, with Team Ninja being the developers, we know it's probably going to be super punishing, and there's also summons within the game and a wide range of weapons. Just like the Neo series, it's set in real-life historical events, but embellishes the folklore and mythology. This game is releasing in early 2023. Next up is Soulsstice. This has a super unique art style which we kind of like, and has a unique take on the Souls-like genre. It's being developed by Replay Game Studios, and in it you will control two characters, one who's actually shade-bound to the player. Even though it's a Souls-like, it definitely seems to be more like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It looks like within the game you'll have to learn and apply your abilities correctly depending on the type of enemies you're facing, so it could be pretty interesting and may have a pretty steep learning curve. We'll have to wait until we can find out more. Within the game itself, you're going to be sent on a mission to reclaim a city in ruins that has been ravaged by wraiths. It's currently set to release on September 20th for PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. Next up is SILKSONG. The list really wouldn't be complete without including this one. We know it's not dead as we still get trailers every now and then, but we are always waiting to hear more. This is being developed by Team Cherry, and it's the sequel to the Hollow Knight series, which of course is a Metroidvania Souls-like mix. Within the sequel, this time you'll be playing as Hornet with a much more acrobatic approach to combat. As Hornet, you'll be the princess protector of Hollow Nest, and you'll be adventuring through a whole new kingdom ruled by Silk and Song. You must battle foes and solve mysteries as you ascend on a deadly pilgrimage to the kingdom's peak. Believe it or not, the release date is still to be decided, and the platforms are currently Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, Linux, and Macintosh operating systems. Next is Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers. This is basically a Ming Dynasty Bloodborne, takes place in Imperial China at the collapse of the Ming Dynasty. The events give rise to unrest across the land, bandits and warlords are fighting over power, humans within this world have started growing feathers which alters their behavior, turning them into feral monsters. As you play through, your quest will unravel a mystery behind this feathering transformation, and I definitely can't wait to hear more about this one as it sounds pretty unique. Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers release date is still to be decided, but the platforms are set for Microsoft Windows, Xbox Series X and S, and PS5. And next is Jedi Survivor. This is being developed by Respawn and is a sequel to the critically acclaimed and loved Fallen Order. You will once again be playing as Cal Kestis, the Jedi who was kind of on the run in the first game and found himself as part of a larger conflict. The game itself will pick up 5 years after the events of Jedi Fallen Order, and Cal must stay one step ahead of the Empire's constant pursuit. And within the bio, it says that Cal feels the weight of being one of the last remaining Jedi within the whole galaxy. The release date is still to be decided, and the platforms are currently set for PC. We'll have to see more when they announce more, but Jedi Survivor is definitely one that should be on your radar for Souls games and also for Star Wars fans. If you want more specific information and more of an in-depth analysis on these games, then do tell us in the comments down below which title you would like to hear more about, and we just might do a follow-up video for you. Definitely click like down below if you did enjoy it and you found a new game, because it really does help, and you can subscribe because we will probably be doing more videos on these games when more information is released. The two videos on screen now we think you might really enjoy if you did like this one. So if any of these games piques your interest, the videos on screen now just might interest you as well. You don't have to, it's totally up to you, but for now they're on the screen if you do want to